This is important work. You don't realize the potential you have to change the lives of people in so many different ways. That which seems extraordinary today will be commonplace in the future. I've got a cell phone in my pocket. 40 years ago, when I started coaching, cell phones weren't even being thought of. If somebody did, it was like on the wrist of a comic character. Extraordinary. Probably wasn't going to happen. Commonplace today. You know, there was a man by the name of Don Scholander back in the late 1960s, early 1970s, that was the first man to break 2 minutes in the 200-meter freestyle. And I know you don't know anything about that for the most part. But Don was way ahead of everybody else in the world. He had the best stroke you've ever seen, was recognized as the most talented athlete that ever put on a Speedo. He swam for a great coach by the name of George Haynes at Santa Clara, which was the swimming mecca of the world in those times. Best coach, best facilities, best situation, most talent. Today, my guess is there's 20,000 people that have gone faster than Don Scholander. Some of those people are women. And let me assure you that it's not due to advanced training. Sure, it's gotten a little bit better. Sure, the equipment and the facilities have gotten better. But you know what the bottom line is? The bottom line is that people believe they can go that fast. There's some people that haven't been coached at all, that have terrible strokes, that have gone faster than Don Scholander. And it's because their belief system allows them to do that. But you know what the great athlete does? And you know what the great company does? They say, if something can be done in 20 or 30 years in the future, why can't we do it today? That's what David Schmidt has done with LifeWave. Now let me tell you how I got in this business. A doctor by the name of Carl Merritt, MD, PhD in bioelectrical engineering. He's into energy medicine. He said, Richard, why don't you try these patches? I tried them on myself. Wow. I felt the results. I tested them. So, the next thing I had to do, because I live in a world that's measured by hundredths of a second. People make the Olympic team by a hundredth of a second, or they miss the Olympic team by a hundredth of a second. And I live in a world where everything is tested. And by the way, I'm one of the leading spokespersons in the world for drug-free sport, especially at the Olympic level. So the first thing I had to do, because I don't have to be tested. And if there's something a little bit wrong with it on me, that's okay, but not for my athletes. So I asked David Schmidt to come out to Stanford and talk to our team and talk to us about his technology. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I might have used the technology on myself or our athletes, but I wouldn't be up here in front of you today if it wasn't for David's genius, David's integrity, and David's leadership. The man is a giant, and he's on your team. He feels like he's been blessed with knowledge that he needs to get to mankind to help mankind live a higher quality of life. So when David came to talk to the Stanford swimming team, I was evaluating the character, and it didn't take long. He is a man of integrity. You can count on that. You can count on the integrity of these products. They work exactly like they're advertised. You know, the funny thing is, when you're helping people, this company will help you help people make money so that you can help more people with their quality of life. It's not a selfish thing. The money you have a chance of making is a byproduct of giving a quality of life to people. Please understand that. This is important work. Now let's talk about goals. Because in order to be successful in this business, you need to set some goals. Let me tell you how goals work. Goals are not what you wish for. Everybody in here wishes they'd be wealthy. Everybody in here wishes they could help people, or you wouldn't be here. Goals are not dreams, or they're not wishes. They're not what you might do, they're you're going to try to do. A goal is what you're absolutely going to do. It's okay to have dreams. Don't misunderstand me. But a goal is something you are going to accomplish. And it changes everything about you. So what I'm telling you is, make your goal realistic. Make it realistic. What you absolutely know you can do, the number of calls you can make, the number of people you can reach, whatever you know you can do, set that goal. You know, I coached a girl by the name of Jenny Thompson. Jenny Thompson has won more gold medals in the Olympic Games than any other female in U.S. swimming history. Now, here's the deal. Jenny came to Stanford in 1991 as a freshman, and she was an outside favorite, or an outside possibility of making the United States Olympic team. But she came in and started working hard, and part of our workout is a dry land circuit. And that's where you go from station to station and do a different exercise at each station. And we did it something like 2 minutes on and 30 seconds to get to the next station, and we had something like 20 stations. Well, one of those stations is a pull-up station. Now, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever tried to do pull-ups for 2 minutes? It's hard to hang on the bar for 2 minutes, much less be doing pull-ups. So what I would do is go up and put my hand on Jenny's waist and just help her up once she couldn't do any more pull-ups for the rest of the 2 minutes. But every time I did that, I'd whisper in her ear. And I would say, Jenny, 53, 53. I was referring to 53 seconds for a 100-meter freestyle. One day she dropped off the bar. And she said, Richard, I haven't even been 55 seconds yet. And you're saying 53. Why don't you say 54? The deal is, the goal has to be yours. It can't be my goal for you, Ken's goal for you, David's goal for you, or your leader, or your sponsor. It's got to be your personal goal. So I said, Jenny, okay. So I'm 54, 54. Well, one day she drops off the bar, by the way, turns around to me and said, Coach, it's okay. You can say 53 now. Exactly what I wanted. Now, at the Olympic trials that year, she has a fantastic swim. She comes off the wall like a dynamo, finishes just phenomenally well. When she hits that wall, she looks up at the scoreboard, and for an instant, she's disappointed. Because the scoreboard said 54.4. And she was 53. That's what she was all about. Now, the disappointment didn't last too long, because it was a new world record. It was the first time a woman from the United States had held that world record in over 60 years. But for an instant, She was disappointed because to her core, her basic belief system was 53. It changes everything about you. A goal changes everything about you. It changes your priorities. A thought. In your life as a distributor, what if you took all the time that you spend watching television and instead you're doing your LifeWave business? George Hoagland, one of the most successful businessmen in LifeWave, suggested that would change the life of distributors, would change the life of LifeWave, and would change the life of so many people. Goals change your priorities. As an athlete, it changes the way you train. Another thing goals do, they see you through the temporary plateaus and disappointments. You are going to face negativism. I've faced it. I went to the Olympic trials. Our athletes were wearing patches. All kind of rumors came out. They were all dead wrong. A lot of criticism. I'm still standing here. I'm still proud. I'm still with LifeWave. And I don't care about the criticism. Train yourself so well that when you get to that place where you're uncomfortable or you're discouraged, that you know what your goal is and you just keep coming. If you'll do that, you can touch that wall first. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. Well, by the way, there's one other thing. Goals help you do the little things on a consistent basis that'll lead to your success. Little things done consistently well are far more important than doing the spectacular every once in a while. You know, I watched Pablo Morales train for the 1992 Olympics. And Pablo watched a race the year before where a man by the name of Matt Biondi swimming the 100 butterfly from Cal. Now, I said it, Cal. Bear's in there. Matt Biondi was a great swimmer, by the way, but he made a mistake in the 100 butterfly in the Olympic Games in 1988. He came into the wall, and as he was reaching for the wall, he pulled his head up and back. So he pulled his hands away from the wall. His body was traveling there, but he's kind of pulling his hands away. He got beat by 100th of a second. A little mistake at the critical moment. Now, Pablo noticed that. He went to school. So in the Olympic year of 1992, every day after practice, every day, only 5 minutes, little thing, 5 minutes, Pablo worked on streamlining the finish. There wasn't a coach around. They were all going to dinner. The other athletes were gone. Pablo Morales wins the Olympic gold medal in 1992 by 3/100ths of a second. And you know what happened at the end? He came up that short. He streamlined into the wall to win. Little things done consistently well add up to the spectacular. Now, I had the honor of coaching a young lady for 3 years prior to the Olympic Games in 2000. Her name is Misty Hyman. And everybody, or a lot of people in our sport, remember that, you know, she won a race. But the whole story is that about 13 months before the Olympic Games, The United States was swimming in a meet in the Sydney Olympic pool. It was a kind of a dress rehearsal for the Olympic Games, and we were swimming against the Australians in kind of a dual meet deal called the Pan-Pacific Championships. And in the 200 butterfly, this is, again, 1 year before the Olympic Games, in the 200 butterfly, Misty Hyman goes out and at the 150, which is 3/4 of the way through the race, she's in the lead. She comes home in 36 seconds, the last 50. And Susie O'Neill, a great swimmer, comes home in about 33 seconds. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know that, that's ugly. That's like a freight train going by a hobo. And after the race, Misty is really discouraged. She's crying. And I meet her at the end of the pool. And we walked on a stairway back to the warm-up pool underneath the bleachers, kind of by ourselves. And we're walking along, and she's saying, Richard, you know, I don't even know if I deserve to try out for the team. I don't know if I deserve to be on the United States Olympic team. I just can't get the job done. She had lost to Susie O'Neill that way about 10 times in her career. So I'm walking along, and I'm thinking, what am I going to say to this girl? And I said, Misty, I know that you're the only person on the face of the earth that can beat Susie O'Neill next year in the Olympic Games. But it's not important what I know. It's important what you believe. It's not important what I know about this business, about this opportunity to help people. It's what you believe that counts. Then we're walking a little bit more, and I said, Misty, you've got 3/4 of the race figured out. All we have to do is make some changes so that you know how to get home that last 50. And you can't keep doing the same things you're doing in practice and have a different result. You've got to change what you're doing in practice in order to have a different result. Same thing in this business, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't been successful in this business yet, other people know that that can be done, therefore. Change what you're doing. Learn from the best, and they want to give it to you. So Misty Hyman made some decisions to change some things. Then she had a great year of training. She worked hard. However, for the first time that year in the NCAA championship, she did not win an individual event. Did not win an individual event. She had won her freshman and her sophomore year, but not her junior year, not the Olympic year. She was discouraged. Goals see you through your discouragement. Misty makes the Olympic team swimming her lifetime best time. And she was using a strategy, and I'm not going to go into the details, but I asked her to change her strategy. Well, I will go into it just a little bit. She was taking 9 kicks off the wall underwater. I asked her to take 6. Now, Misty had always taken 9, and she swam her lifetime best going 9, but she didn't have a chance to win a medal, or certainly not the gold medal, taking 9. She needed to make a change. This is 4 weeks before the Olympic Games. I asked her to change her strategy from her best time in order to get to a higher level. Again, do you think that's my decision? It's Misty's decision. Well, Misty made the change and had a phenomenal training camp. Just extraordinary. Now, when Misty Hyman comes into the wall and makes her turn, she brings her knees up first and does a back somersault and gets her breath late in that somersault. Her 2 main competitors in that race come into the wall, raise their head first for a breath, which makes their body long. They can't rotate from there. Misty Hyman took her 6 kicks underwater, and then on her first stroke, does not take a breath. So she's taking the momentum of the swim right from the wall into the swim. The other 2 girls take 2 kicks underwater. They come up and get a breath, and they're vertical. Now, one of those people swimming, and then they have to restart, by the way. One of those people swimming is Susie O'Neill. Susie O'Neill was a defending Olympic champion. She was the world record holder. She hadn't lost the 200 butterfly in 6 years. But somebody wasn't paying attention to the details, to the little things. Somebody let the training... You know what happened? Somebody decided, and I don't know whether it's the coach or the athlete, decided to skip part of the training. Now, she was a hard worker. She was strong. She had experience. But she was allowed to make mistakes in practice that at the critical moment in the race caused her not to win. On the other hand, Misty, when she comes out and doesn't take that breath, she didn't have to think about that because it was part of her training. She did it every day in practice. She didn't have a decision to make. The past does not equal the future. You can change your future. You can change the future of others. The past does not equal the future. What she said in the interview after the race, Jim Gray asked her, Misty, did you know that you were going to win the race? Did you really believe you could win it? And she said, yes, I do. I did. I believed I could win it. The doubts kept creeping in, but I pushed them away. When she made her turn on the last turn, she said, I've been here before, but today's my day. Ladies and gentlemen, today's your day. Live your goals. Let's help make LifeWave a gold medal company, helping millions of people throughout the world. Thank you very much for your time.